disparities of rural and urban people, regional development, rich in traditional arts or handcraft, reduce poverty, growth of slum, migration, awaken the youth, increase the literacy rate rural people.
Zainab, can I please just ask you to approach to the end because we are running out of time. So
okay,
please.
Let me go to the role of government in entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a great tool for good governance. Governments around the world are facing shortage of resources, funds, and expertise to address the need of citizens. Training is very important for entrepreneurship, but it is not enough. We need to do more, and also training is a very easy strategy to implement. A very common problem with policy implementation resulting to easy, quick strategies. In conclusion, the ability of rural people communities to turn grass into wool. So the best reason to start an organization is to make the meaning, to create a product or service, to make the rural areas and the world a better place. Thank you for this opportunity. And that's all.
Thank you, Zainab. So this is actually the end of session 2. Thank you very much to all the participants. And I think that now session 3 is going to start, team 2. Thank you.
All right.
Hi, good evening. So here, good evening to Anusha, Dr. Subair, Mirza, and Dr. Bushra, and Dr. Munirul. Then Hawoshin also here. Good evening, 100% here. So I hope you all are fine. Shall we start the session? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 presenters, and you will get 10 minutes for presentation and 5 minutes for the Q&A session. I hope we can start the session. So can we start with Professor Munirul?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, proceed.
Okay, I'm just taking time for sharing my screen.
No problem. Meantime, I will introduce myself. My name is Dr. Tara. I teach economics, and I'm associating with the Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Dubai, and associating with the School of Business. Okay. Over to
my
you,
presentation is
Professor
visible to you?
Munir.
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
it
is. Yeah. Yes, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. Distinguished moderator, a panel of experts, and dear viewers, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. So welcome to my presentation. The presentation is entitled Mineral Imports, Clean Energy Transitions Nexus, Evidence from the Top Mineral Importing Economies. So this is Muhammad Munirul Islam. Currently, I'm the PhD Fellow at Graduate School of Economics and Management, Imperial Federal University, Ikhtarin, Bagration, and I'm also an assistant professor at Bangladesh Institute of Governance and Management, BIGM, and this institute is affiliated to the University of Dhaka. Before going to start my presentation, firstly, I'd like to show the contents of my presentation. Firstly, the context of the study that I would like to discuss, then research objective, research contribution, model and methodology that I used in my study. I will discuss about it, the data of the research that I have taken for conducting this research, and empirical findings I will discuss in my discussion or in my presentation. And last but not the least, conclusion and policy recommendation that I will discuss at the last phase of my presentation. Dear viewers, you know that the United Nations Climate Change Conference that was held in Glasgow in 2021, and that is in short called the COP26, that conference mainly called for the global leaders to reach to the trajectory of net zero emissions, and that is to be achieved by these countries by the mid-21st century. And this conference also called all the global leaders to establish the renewable as well as the clean energy transition based, and they also told that this will be the steering wheel of the development of the 21st century, because fossil fuel-based energy resources that are creating the environmental hazards, and that is generating the huge emissions, so that will not sustain the society, that will not sustain the environment. So from that point of view, they called for the establishment of the renewable or clean energy transition, and that will be the ultimate goal, should be the ultimate goal of the global leaders or global countries. So as the countries has committed to establish their basis of renewable energy technology, so it has created the huge demand for mineral resources, because different renewable energy technologies like solar power, solar panels, wind, photovoltaics, of solar power plants to generate electricity. I think mineral resource and for the battery uses, so mineral resources is very necessary ingredients. So in that sense, if a countries don't have the mineral resources, I think they will not be able to establish the renewable energy technology for cleaning energy transition process. What we see in the mineral demands have become higher amid the operation of the clean energy technologies in different countries of the world. And top mineral-based countries also aware of the global vision to keep the intensification of the world average temperature underneath 2 degrees Celsius. So they are highly enthusiastic to import the different types of minerals, so that they can use these ingredients, that these minerals resources, for developing their renewable energy technologies like solar power, so wind power, photovoltaics, and solar plants to generate electricity in that country. So this is mainly my motivation to study how the mineral importing countries are utilizing the mineral resources for satisfying the global vision of clean energy transitions. And my research objective, the research objective is to investigate how the mineral resources are being utilized by these countries to develop the clean energy or renewable energy production and hence in the transitions. So our contribution is used in the contemporary literature, because no study previously covered the mineral resource induced clean energy transition, and even no study considered the top mineral imports countries in their studies, and that is substantially scarce in the field of economic or energy literature. So this is our fundamental contribution, just to see the relationship between mineral resources and the clean energy, that means renewable energy consumption relationship. So in my study, my dependent variable is renewable energy consumption, and my independent variables are the mineral imports, financial openness, technology innovation, outcome, urbanization, and polity. This is the governance variable, and variable is that I would like to discuss later. So our model is here. The renewable energy consumption is a function of mineral imports, financial openness, technology innovation outcome, urbanization, and polity or governance indicators. For doing this research, I mainly utilize the cross-sectional dependence that is also called the CD test. To check the station status of the data, I have utilize the CIPS panel unit root test, and for the co-integration analysis, I have utilized the cross-sectional autoregressive distributed lag CS-ARDL approach to co-integration. And finally, I have to check the causality among the variables. I've utilized the Dumitru-Harlin panel causality test, and that was developed by Dumitru and Harlin in 2012. Now the research data. So here renewable energy consumption, that is the percentage of the total energy consumption. Mineral imports volume in metric ton that I considered, and its sources is British Geological Survey 2021, and Carbon Financial Index I have considered in my study, and that data is mainly collected from Portland State University. And technology innovation outcomes, I think this is the one of the contribution in terms of the variable use, because here electricity power consumption per capita, mobile cellular subscription per 100 people, and patent application, which are utilized in this study as a technology innovation outcomes, and it is considered using the principal component analysis technique. And urbanization is the total urban people I considered in my study, and its source is World Bank. And the quality index I have considered here. So here the index is range from 1 to 10 in terms of the quality of the democratic governance in a country. And the descriptive statistics. So here I'd like to show that the standard deviation of all among all these variables that are not deviated. So in that sense, we can consider that the data are normally distributed. Then the correlation matrix is here also shown. Only urbanization and mineral imports has the negative impacts here, but these are insignificant. In that sense, we can consider this data into the integration technique. And cross-sectional dependency test and panel unit test we conducted here. The CD test result here, we see that our CD test is significant, that we can consider that there is no cross-sectional dependency issue in the panel units. And CIPS here, we see the mixed order of integration. So data are stationary at I0 and I1. So we can say that it is possible to run the CS-ARDL based co-integration technique for checking the short-term and long-term relationship amongst the variable. So this is the CS-ARDL estimation result. Here we see that error correction term, its coefficient is negative, and it is significant at 1% level. So, but the coefficient value of error correction is smaller, so it will take more time to converge from the short-run disturbance to the long-run equilibrium. And here we see the coefficient of mineral imports, where the p-value is more than 1. So 1% change in mineral imports demand that contributes to increase the renewable energy consumption at 68%. So financial openness, it has the positive impact, and 46%. And technology innovation, its contribution is lower to stimulate renewable energy consumption, but urbanization negatively impacts the renewable energy consumption, and its impact is significant. But governance or quality index has no significant contribution in our study. But and in the short run, I think there is no significant impact. So we just so from the result, we can see that mineral imports and renewable energy consumption nexus has been explored in our study. So we also run the causality test amongst the variables. So there is the bidirectional causality between renewable energy and mineral imports, and technology innovation outcomes and renewable energy imports has the bidirectional causality. So urbanization and renewable energy has also the bidirectional causality. And mineral imports and in terms of some other variable, there is the unidirectional causality but technology innovation and urbanization as unidirectional causality. So this is our causality findings that I have shown here. Finally, the conclusion and policy recommendations. So from our study findings, we see that there is a substantial nexus between mineral imports and renewable energy consumption in the top 9 mineral importing countries in the world. And these study findings also show that the mineral importing countries' intentions highly aligns with the global vision of clean energy transitions. And the global leaders' intention is to decarbonize the world or to reaching the net zero emission. That could be achieved if the mineral importing country utilize their mineral resources for renewable energy production and consumption. So in that case, the policymaker should, continue their mineral imports for clean energy production and consumption. And we also see that there is no significant role of quality or institutional quality variables. So in that sense, it is very important to make the institutional quality vibrant so that it can help intensify the relationship between renewable energy consumption and mineral imports. So institutional quality's role is very necessary, because in our study there is no fundamental roles of the institutional quality here. Last but not the least, achieving sustainable development goals could be easy for these economies if they utilize this mineral imported resources to produce and thereby consume renewable and clean energy for in their countries. So, and that's all. Thank you for your patience, Yanin. Thank you.
Wonderful presentation, Dr. Munirul. And now it is open for the discussion. If you have any question, you can ask. Any questions from your side? Professor Munirul, but I am happy to see such kind of topic if you come up with such kind of topic, because hardly we can see research or the study on this renewable energy or maybe sustainable development and all. We have a lot of studies, but to relate both the concept, like the mineral imports and you have started in the conclusion or somewhere you just mentioned that the nexus between the mineral import and the renewable energy consumption, right? So that connection, actually, it's that is the beauty of this paper. And again, you put a lot of effort into the data test and hypothesis testing and all. It's very good. All the very best. I hope you will be giving it for the publication, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. All the very best, Dr. Munirul. And in future, warm welcome into this group for the collaboration and all. By the way, you're from which university?
Yeah, now currently I'm doing my PhD at Ural Federal University
PhD.
in Russia.
Oh,
yeah, I'm Russia,
okay.
but I'm an assistant professor in our country, Bangladesh, University of Dhaka. So
very good.
I'm working as an assistant professor there, but
Wonderful.
Still I'm in Russia, Ekaterinburg in Russia.
Russia. Okay, wonderful. All the best for your future studies and especially for doctorate. So come up with such kind of studies, and you can collaborate with you. Take that mail ID of these people, and definitely you can collaborate in future, and that will be beneficial for your research and the career growth. Okay, Munirul.
Thank you, Professor, for your nice comment. Yeah, of course, I might have the a collaboration with research people, those who are participating here. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to present my research work, and we will have the future collaboration. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Okay, now we can call Anusha. Dr. Anusha is here. Ms. Anusha Kanwal.
Yes, ma'am.
Anusha, are you ready for the presentation?
Ma'am, I'm not presenting. I'm the co-host. Next presenter is
you're not presenting. It's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you are not presenting. It's okay, no problem. What about Dr. Hoshin? Hello. Yes.
Good evening, Dr. Tara.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
I'm good. I can do the next session. I can do my presentation.
Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, you can start the presentation.
Okay, just allow me a
Yes,
minute to share my screen.
no problem. And Munirul, it's on time. Actually, you took only 10 minutes for your presentation. And it's very crispy and it's very clear. Very good.
Yeah.
Well organized, Munirul.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So good evening, distinguished scholars. So my name is Hao Shen, and I'm from Illinois Institute of Technology in the US. So tonight, I'm very glad to present my paper. So how do state tax changes affect bond yield spread US evidence? So this is more of finance paper, not an economic paper, but and also use this is also the empirical paper using the US data. So let's get this paper started. And so the first question, why do we use state tax laws? Because in the US, in addition to federal tax, firms also need to pay state tax to the state government. And the number is very huge. So state tax account for about 21% of firms' total income tax. And according to the report by EY in 2019, the state tax is was about $77 billion. So the amount is very huge. That's why we want to investigate the effect of state tax laws. And also in addition to that, so state tax changes, they're actually exogenous shocks. So that can help us to mitigate the endogeneity concerns in our research. And this method has been used by many studies in tax literature. So the goal of this paper is to fill the gap between state tax law changes and the bond yield spread. Okay, so that's our introduction. And next is our literature review and hypothesis development. So basically, we're gonna explore two channels of how tax changes affect the bond yield spread. The first is volatility. So as I talk about, tax, especially state tax, impose a significant cost to firms. So that will cause a higher volatility of firms' cash flows. And the debt investors will high volatility as a major risk. They will charge higher for the firms. So that's channel one. And the second channel is the firm leverage, because firm with a higher tax rate then tend to borrow more. But with a higher leverage, it will increase the firm's probability to default. So that'll increase the cost of debt. So that's channel two. With this evidence, so we hypothesize that tax increases will have a positive effect on the bond yield spread. As we talk about the tax increases, how about the tax decreases? And the debt holders, they cannot share the benefit that the tax decrease confer to firm, because debt holders, they are fixed claim on the firms. So they will not incorporate this information into bond pricing. And with all the discussion, so we hypothesize that tax increases will have a positive effect on the bond yield spread, whereas the tax decrease will not affect bond yield spread. So that's our hypothesis. Okay. The third part is our data and the methods. So where do I get the state change data? The data is from the paper by Heather and Lindquist, and it's a paper published by JFE. So actually the tax data contains 43 tax increases in 24 states in the US, and 78 tax cuts in 27 states. That's almost cover three decades in the US. It's a very long period. And the next is where do we get our bond issue data? So we collect the bond issued from SDC, and we actually collect the non-convertible fixed rate bonds by the US firms. So that's our bond issue data. And also we conduct some screening process with job firms in financial and utility industry. So after all the screening process, we got a sample size of 2,362 bond issues and by 477 firms. So that's our sample size. And this is consistent with the similar research with the same sample period. And that's our data. So next is our research method, our regression model. So the dependent variable is very simple. It's a spread. So it's the difference between the yield to maturity of corporate bonds and the yield to maturity on the treasury security with the similar maturities. That's also follow the existing literature. And also you need to note about the independent variable. So the T plus here, that's a dummy variable equals 1 if a state increase its tax rate 0 otherwise. And the T minus here is also a dummy variable equals 1 if a state decrease its tax rate. And it will also control other characteristics such as bond issue characteristics, firm level financial information, and also economic conditions. And we also include the industry fixed effect and year fixed effect to control for any omitted factors. So that's our regression model. Okay. Then is our summary statistics, and it's basically very standard. And if you're interested, please take a look. And they're generally consistent with the existing literature. Okay. So you don't have questions about this page, and I will move to. Okay, I will move to empirical results. So that's our baseline regression results. Excuse me. So, but in the first column, we don't have any controls, just the tax increase, decrease dummy variables here. As you can see, the coefficient on tax increase is positive and it's very significant. And on the tax down, it's not significant. So this is consistent with our hypothesis. In column 2, we include the bond characteristics. So our result stays the same. And in third column, we also include the bond characteristics. If you can see here, that's the controls. And the results are still the same. So this from this table, you can see our results had a very statistical significance. And how about the economic significance? So we're going to use the column 3 as an example. You can see the coefficient about 36. So 36, and we divide by the average bond yield spread, which is 133. So we got a 27% increase in the bond yield spread. And we also translate this number into interest expenses for the firms. So given that the average bond issue is about $285 million, and also the increase in yield spread is about 36 BPS, and the time is the maturity, which is 12 years, and we get the conclusion that a tax increase on average increase the interest expenses for the firm about $12 million. So the table shows that our results is both statistically significant, also economically significant. So that's our baseline regression results. And next, we conduct some robustness checks. So in the first column, so you can see we want to invest whether the effect of tax changes going to persist into subsequent years. So we redefine the indicators here a little bit. So in here, tax up actually equals 1 if there is a tax increase in 3-year window before the bond issues, and 0 otherwise. And also this is the same. So you can see the coefficient is still positive and significant. And also in column 2 and column 3, we include state fixed effect and also firm fixed effect to control for any omitted factors. In column 4, we replace the tax change indicators with the actual change in tax rate. And you can see we still get the same result. Right, that's our robustness checks. So if you're okay with this one, I will move to endogeneity checks. So because our the tax changing this paper is more like quasi-natural shocks, so our paper is less likely to suffer from endogeneity issues, and also because firms are less likely to lobby for tax increase, so that'll provide support for our paper. Also, we done falsification test. We randomly generate 1,000 set of tax increase and decrease, and run the regression again. And we found the coefficient and tax increase are still not significant. So generally speaking, that provides support for our findings. So the last one is the channel checks. So in this paper, we argue that the reason why tax increase firms' bond yield spread is because firms experience an increase in their riskiness.
Dr. Ho, you have only 1 more minute.
Okay, I will finish up very quickly. Okay, so we use 3 measures to represent the firm's riskiness. So volatility, profitability, cash flow, and stock returns. You can, generally speaking, so after tax increases, firm will increase experience an increase of their riskiness. So that's confirm our findings. Okay, next is the conclusion. So tax increases have a positive effect on bond yield spread, whereas tax decrease do not. And also the tax increase result in a 36 BPS increase in bond yield spread, and that translates into additional $12 million for firms. And also tax increases increase the bond yield spread by aggregating firms' overall riskiness. So that's my presentation. Thank you for listening. And is there any questions for me?
So it's open for discussion. If you have any question, you can ask. Doctor, actually, I would like to know about could you please elaborate that conclusion?
You mean this slide?
Yes. So you are saying that tax is having a positive effect on bond yield spreads. Okay, can you explain that part?
Yes. Yes. So the conclusion is have a positive effect on bond yield spread. That's based on our baseline regression results. So as you can see, the independent variable is tax increases. So the dependent variable is our bond yield spread. So after our regression, and we can see they have a positive relation here, and that's kind of based on our theory that tax increase firms' volatility and also firms' leverage, and the debt holders will regard these 2 changes as increase of risk. So that's why they increase. The firm are going to charge, the banks are going to charge more for their bond.
Oh, and then how did you collect the data? From where you get this data?
So for tax change data, it's from the paper by Hatter and Lindquist. If you wanted the data, I can definitely send you the paper. And for
no, I'm just asking.
Yeah. And for the bond issue data, it's from SDC, and we collect the non-convertible fixed bond issues.
Okay, then when you gone through the literature review, is the rate constant calculated in your study similar to the estimated previous studies?
Yes.
Okay.
You mean
so
this
any new findings are there in this study? Because when you take the literature review, when you've gone through, so here what is a new thing you found out in this study than the previous one?
Oh, thank you for mentioning that. And actually, we spent a lot of time talking about that. First, in the bond pricing literature, they actually just talking about the volatility and firm leverage and also other conditions to the bond yield spread. Not a lot of people talk about the tax effect on that. And if I actually found two papers. The first is about the personal tax, not about the corporate income tax. And another paper focuses on their tax treatment between corporate bond and a government bond. So this paper actually focuses on the state tax, and because this is a large amount burden for firms, so this paper contributes the literature by considering the effect of state tax changes. Nobody ever considered that before.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, all the very best, doctor, and fantastic study again with a very good regression analysis and all. It's very clear. Okay, very good. So now we will move on to anybody is ready for the presentation. Dr. Subair.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to do this, and
Yes.
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, okay, nice to see you, and all the very best for your future research studies, and I hope you are planning to publish this on an indexed journal, right?
Actually, it's going to my dissertation, so not going to publish.
Okay, okay, all the very best.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so Dr. Bushra, are you ready for the presentation?
Yeah, I am. Thank you. May I start?
Yes, yes, you can start.
It's not me. Hi, madam.
To share my screen first. Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yes, 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 we can, we can.
Okay, so my name is Bushra Abbas, and I'm from National Defense University. So first of all, thank you to the GCBMS for providing me this opportunity. And without further delay, I would directly jump on to presenting my topic, that is on impact of COVID-19 on selected SDGs in Pakistan. Here's the outline that I'm going to present throughout my presentation. Okay, so dear audience, as we all know that the pandemic has made the challenged sustainable development agenda a matter of concern for the developed world and development practitioners and agencies who introduce this model globally. And it has threatened all the aspects of human, social, economic, environmental well-being by disturbing the usual matrix of life and altering the ultimate focus of sustainable development. So COVID-19 basically has posed a challenge between pro-nature and pro-human development. And at the same time, it has contested the conventional and neoliberal models of development, which is human development. So we already know that history has witnessed numerous wars, holocausts, pandemics, endemics, and catastrophes, taking millions of human lives and causing social, economic, climatic destruction across the world. And hence, a resilient economic, technological, and social structure is mandatory in all the sectors to counter the destruction. For this reason, we already know that developing and least developed countries bear the cost of such pandemics and catastrophes more than the developed world to counter global challenges. For developing world, it takes more years for mitigation and recovery than the time to build it formally. So it has impacted, as we know, that the pandemic has affected and impacted the UN Sustainable Development Agenda and its achievement by 2030, halting the progress of almost all the goals, as we know that all the goals are strongly connected to each other and very interdependent. And therefore, it challenges the implementation and its achievement by 2030. So Pakistan, being a developing country, is also one of the worst victims of the global pandemic. So my audience, this paper or research article in the study is an effort towards finding the impact of COVID-19 on the selected SDGs, which I have selected I've distributed the selected SDGs into pro-human and pro-nature development. So SDG 1, that is no poverty, 3, good health and well-being, and 4, quality education is tabulated under the pro-human development, and SDG 13, which is selected under the pro-nature development goal. In Pakistan, basically, and through statistical methodology, I would like to study. I have studied this impact. So moving on to the literature review of my paper. As we know, the onset of the pandemic has incited different theories across different fields, especially health, medicine, economics, geography, environment. And amidst the theoretical advancements and debates regarding environment and interplay of such endogenous and exogenous geographic factors affecting man in specific and society in general, it has revived the geography's renowned theory of environmental determinism. That is the notable aspect of this whole literature review or studying this paper. COVID-19 is a phenomena that is influenced by geographical and environmental factors, and it's self-influencing the other institutions of our society, be it health, institutional, social, economic, many kinds of development that we see. And it creates a circular indigeneity. So I would like to quote Dr. Jeffrey Sachs here, who says that an epidemic is more detrimental to the economy of a least developed country as compared to its own institutional inadequacies. So it can disrupt the trade channels, tourism, supply chain, many things. And here is when we provide the theoretical background of pandemic COVID-19 with the environmental determinism, which is used to explain differentiation in world regions. We can see rich-poor divide, we can see the difference of culture, we can see difference in civilization, source of production, development, many things, wealth, power. Nonetheless, the notable aspect that, as I already said, is the resurgence of environmental and geographic factors in the last decade as climate action received due acknowledgement and focus shifted towards sustainable development. So, next slide is spatial influences. As I already put much focus to the spatial factors and environmental factors contributing to the uneven development. So as you know, that development is a complex phenomena, and it like many endogenous and exogenous factors interplay, plays its role in defining what kind of development is creating in one part of a world, and it could be different in another part of the world. So the burden of a disease on a country, if we talk about pandemics, so burden of a disease on a country further enhances if its geography is not favorable. For instance, burden of AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, in sub-Saharan countries like Africa. So, but I won't say that geography can be equated with determinism entirely. This is not true, and not all the countries with epidemics are in alike situations of poverty, economic distress, and underdevelopment. And we have also witnessed that during the pandemic too. So hence the development policies and investments must be modified, adapting to the holistic aspects of that country. So, yeah. So the factors that I mentioned, we know that the phenomena of epidemics and development explained, it like fits aptly to the current situation of global pandemic. The SDG is both pro-human and pro-nature, advocating the theory of possibilism and environmentalism. It acknowledges the role of human agency as well as the role of geographic factors in defining the development of a country. So SDG achievement progress, I would talk about in my paper. I have studied the SDG achievement progress throughout the world regions, but here I would focus on in Pakistan, or like just give the brief glimpse of it. It has been drastically impacted, as we all know, for least and unresilient economies more further. So the least in the lower income countries achieved the SDG index score from slightly above 45 in 2010, to nearly 50 in 2020. lower middle income countries from around 55 in 2010 to 60 in 2020, upper middle income class from 66 in 2010 to 70 in 2020, and lastly, high income countries from around 76 in 2010, around 78 in 2020. So we can see the drop down in such index numbers. We can recall that pandemic, it rose in 2019. So how much difference in each class, we can see that from these numbers. And with the regional demarcation, I would also like to mention that throughout this time, since 2015, South Asia was the region that made the highest contribution towards the sustainable development. So it also got impacted more drastically in a negative sense. For Pakistan, Pakistan lies at 129 out of 165 in the country ranking and has achieved the statistical performance index of 60.7. The only SDG it has achieved as per the statistical data report of 2021 is SDG 13. You can have a detailed look at this report for each at this slide for of all the goals for Pakistan, and this has been taken from this SDG report of 2021. You can have an access that. One other thing that this report also mentioned is the unavailability of updated data. So this limitation also lies here with Pakistan as well. So like other countries maybe, but other developing countries. But many of this, I won't blindly believe on this slides because the data is not updated or not up to the mark and data provided. So that is a limitation of the study. So another theory besides environmental determinism that the study has touched upon is structural functional theory, and this theory is used in the study to present the idea of connectivity and interdependence between different social institutions to run the society in a sustainable manner, and it needs no more.
Ms. Bushra, sorry to interrupt. You have only 1 more minute.
Oh, okay. I will just quickly. I think I have. Okay. I think this need no more explanation. So this is the conceptual framework where all the you can see the connection of the goals and its sustainable development agenda. These are the hypotheses of my study that the pandemic has affected the goals. Sorry, you're muted. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Findings of the study.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, so 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay. Result analysis. Okay. Which all tools you have used to test your hypothesis?
Yeah, this is a quantitative based research. Okay. So the data collection methodology that I've used is survey-based questionnaire, and the sample
reliability analysis.
Yeah, 300 to 400, and the test that I've run is reliability, frequency analysis, correlation, regression analysis, and multivariate analysis. I would also like to mention that because that test is very. I would move to this slide because this is the result slide. So. Yeah, this test is basically was conducted to assess and analyze the impact of COVID-19 on selected SDGs in Pakistan, and to check the impact of single independent variable on multiple dependent variables, like impact of COVID-19 on multiple dependent, like all the sustainable development goals. So based on this test, the R-square values of dependent variables SDG 1, 3, 4, and 13 are 0.276, as you can see, 0.276, 0.070, and if we convert into percentages to make it more easier, the most affected goal was SDG 1, that is by 27.6%, then education by 19%, then good health and well-being by 7%, and climate action in a positive sense because it impacted the environment in a positive manner by 3.8%. So the study confirmed the hypothesis As I hope, as I've already shed the light upon the most impacted goals. So increase in poverty levels, disruption in quality of education, damage in health and well-being, and improvement in environmental health. All these conclusions were seen according to the results. The results confirm these observations as well as the hypothesis. And the clear interjection is that the development at the cost of nature, we cannot achieve sustainable development at the cost of nature. And there's always, I would like to say, that nature karma. So if what we give to Mother Earth, it would come back to us. So there are different few other recommendations, as the time is limited, so I won't elaborate. I would like to constrict myself. Green stimulus and creation of green occupations. We can invest in areas that would create more green jobs or green occupations rather than instead of brown jobs or brown occupations. And that would contribute more towards the environment or environmental sustainability. Investment in green innovation. We can impose taxes on and subsidies not on fossil fuels or something that would create more environmental damage. Instead, we can use the revenue generated from such policies and use towards it in environmental benefit. So behavior and opinion change. We all agree that the pandemic has drastically change our opinion and behavior. We are more agreeable towards digitization, work from home, or decarbonization or conserving our earth. So this also this is a very powerful tool. We should not neglect the power of a behavior or opinion change on a national level. So and capturing co-benefits. So that is it from my side, and thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bushra. Bushra, are you working or a research student?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a good study, but I wanted to know what is the independent variable here, and what are the dependent variable in the study?
So dependent variables are the goals as the selected goals, and the independent variable is the pandemic.
You have mentioned one, nature karma. Can you explain that out of curiosity?
Yeah, that actually I concise myself because of the shorter of time, but yes, I would like to elaborate on it.
Just to do 2 or 3 lines just to explain.
This is keep on slipping away from. So what I meant by nature karma was that disasters includes a message in them that what man gives to nature comes back at him. So nature is indispensable from evolution, development, or progression. So pandemic has challenged globalization, what we call, development. So it has challenged globalization, it has challenged industrialization, and necessitating the limitation of human contact, such that nature has taken man into its control. We have seen that now nature controls us. It's more, it's kind of a proof now. So
yes, we can.
So nature's significance is of such great magnitude that I think we have become blind towards this fact.
Yes, Mr. Shah. So next time you can do it as a suggestion only. So when you, if it's a 10 minutes, I know that it's a very, you want to, because you just have a thorough knowledge in that particular topic and you want to explain many things, and we wish to listen, but running out of time, because we're running out of time, we are not able to, unfortunately. So next time you can jump into, because you are studying the hypothesis, and it's beautiful actually. So I wish to know more about that. So next time when you listen, you can, the introduction only 2 minutes. More into that model,
into the
hypothesis, test, and the conclusion. Okay, next time you just concentrate on that. It's a beautiful study.
Thank you so much.
All the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, so who is the next one? I think Danli Bashir, are you ready?
Yes, ma.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
You can present right now.
Okay, sir. Okay, ma. I'm using Windows 10. Hello, ma.
Yes.
I'm using Windows 10. How do I? Hello?
Yeah, you just share your screen where your PowerPoint is there,
My
there with you,
PowerPoint,
right?
yes. I think it's supposed
Yes,
to be
you can
click
share your
F-
PowerPoint.
I think I should click F5.
Do you know how to share?
No, it's supposed to be F5, but I've been just giving me.
Okay, okay. If you want, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, then we can ask somebody else to present right now, and you can prepare for that. You will get some time.
Which one, madam? Ma? Excuse me.
Yes, yes. Are you ready to do the presentation
Yes,
right now?
I am ready.
Yes.
Ma. The only issue
Yeah.
is that I would like to make a presentation without sharing the PowerPoint.
Okay, without share the PowerPoint. It's okay.
Yes.
Okay then.
Yes.
But then we will not understand.
Yes.
Just try. If it is not possible, it's okay.
But the issue is that, in Nigeria, we have problem with electricity.
Oh, no issues. So I can understand. I can understand.
Yeah,
You just present that one then. No issues.
Yes, my battery is running down.
No problem. No problem.
Yes.
We can understand that. Okay, you just present. What is the topic?
Yes, the topic is the effect of foreign direct investment on economic growth in Nigeria.
Okay.
And my name is Alad Bashir.
Okay.
I am a lecturer with Jigawa State Polytechnic in Nigeria.
If you want, one minute. If you want, you can do one thing. You can share your PowerPoint in this chat box.
Okay.
Okay, then I can help you to present
the issue is that I have the PowerPoint already on my desktop, but the full screen, when I press F5, it's not showing.
That's what I said. Can you send it to me? Can you send it in the chat box?
Chat box? You mean it's already there. I've sent it to your mailbox already.
Okay, no problem. It's okay. Then you just carry on, no issues.
Okay. The presentation will take the following outline: introduction, literature review, research methodology, data analysis, conclusion, and recommendation. By way of introduction,
Hello. Professor Bashir, can you hear me? I think he has that technical issue. So anybody else is there to present? Yes, I think he has some problem. So Miss Anusha is not presenting. She's attending the conference, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I think we anybody else will check. Okay. So Bushra and Hoshen, how do we pronounce your name? Who is it? Who or?
Yes, just how. Sounds like how are you?
How? Okay, how? Okay. How and Bushra, very nice. Actually, it was I'm very happy to listen your study, your research, and it's very deep and elaborated. And Bushra, you are going to present. It's a part of your dissertation, right?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, both of you. So all the very best for your presentation.
Thank you.
So for your dissertation and the research work. Yeah, and it's a fantastic study, Bushra, because especially from Pakistan, I have many studies. It's economic development, but this kind of sustainable and that agenda and all the thing. It's first time. Yeah, it's very nice.
It's always been like my interest area. So even for my undergraduate studies, I kept this this thing under my study and focus of like, my thesis.
Very,
So,
very good. Very good.
thank
very
you so
good.
much.
Keep
Thank
on. Yeah. Very, very nice. Okay. Then I think
Sorry,
that Bashir, Mr. Bashir is here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
Yes, it's a network challenge. Sorry.
Yeah, you can continue.
Yes. As I have said, a lot of scholars have divergent opinion as regards to the effect of foreign direct investment on economic growth.
Okay.
Most of the investigations or findings show that economic growth is positively affected by the influx of foreign direct investment. However, there are some scholars who are of the view that do not significantly believe that using all this, when they are merged with the influx of foreign direct investment, then we will have a significant effect on economic growth. So because of this study is aimed at finding out the effect of FDI on economic growth and the interaction between FDI and exchange rate. So by way of literature review, the study has made use of several investigations by different scholars. And the findings from the scholars shows that according to Adeleke 2014, the effect of FDI on economic growth is that FDI does not exert independent effect on economic growth. Secondly, as we go further, another scholar also analyzed the effect of FDI on economic growth in Pakistan. The investigation made use of annual time series data from 2000 to 2010. And the finding reveals that there is a positive linkage between FDI and economic growth in Pakistan. As we go further also, so many scholars for the economy of time, I will not mention them all, given the 10 minutes. But however, by way of summary, scholars such as Rahman 2014 made use of multiple regression technique to investigate the effect of foreign direct investment on economic growth in Pakistan. And the result revealed positive linkage between FDI and GDP, while there is a negative linkage with CPI, that is Consumer Price Index. As we go further also, one scholar has or is of opinion that there is a short-run negative relationship between FDI and economic growth. However, the long-run positive relationship only exists in the long run. The research methodology. The study made use of annual time series data from 1986 to 2020. The data were sourced from the database of World Development Indicators and the 2021 Statistical Bulletin of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Autoregressive distributed lag was employed to find out the effect of FDI on economic growth. So with this introduction of this dynamic model, the study adopted the empirical work of one Aminu Y. Batat, 2019, who investigated whether foreign aid triggers economic growth in Nigeria. According to the regression model, GDP, this dependent variable, is equal to the function of the official development assistance, that is ODI, and some other independent variable. So this model was adopted and substituted the official development assistance, the gross capital formation, import and export, by introducing exchange rates, FDI, inflation, and trade. And that will translate into a new model as GDP is equal to the function of FDI, exchange rate, inflation, and trade. So the equation of, if you are to change it to dynamic model, it's going to look at GDP is equal to alpha naught plus beta 1 GDP at time t minus 1. That's the lag value of GDP plus beta 2 FDI plus the lag value of FDI, and so on. So looking at this model, the following are the result of data analysis. The descriptive statistics show the measures of central tendencies, the mean, median, and of course, the measures of dispersion, looking at log GDP, log FDI, log exchange rates, log inflation, and log trade. These are the values which I will share after the presentation. Another slide shows the stationarity test, the unit root test, which depicts that all the variables are stationary in the first difference. However, about like log FDI, exchange rate, inflation, and trade were stationary even at level. The result of the autoregressive estimation shows that log FDI positively is statistically significant at 0.05, which means log or FDI has a positive impact on GDP, which is a proxy for economic growth. Also, log exchange rate has a positive insignificant impact on the GDP, the proxy for economic growth. So by conclusion, as far as the outcome or the result of autoregressive distributed lag estimation is concerned, FDI significantly and positively affects economic growth. So this is a policy paper, which I believe after the finding, some policy suggestions will be given to the government of Nigeria. One of the policy suggestions is that the government should consider currency depreciation to encourage.
Professor, you have one more, excuse me, sorry to interrupt, you have only 1 more minute.
Okay, ma.
Okay, just coming to the conclusion.
Yes,
Test and
I'm already in recommendation. I am through with
okay, no
conclusion.
problem. Yeah. Yes, no problem.
Yes, government should consider currency depreciation to encourage more inflow of foreign direct investment, considering its positive effect on economic growth. The institutional quality should be improved in order to attract more foreign investors in terms of property rights, law and order, control of corruption, and good governance. Lastly, the government should put in place policies that will encourage stability in the general price level and the exchange rate stability. Strict measures should be geared towards encouraging trade so that productivity can be enhanced to stimulate economic growth, despite the insignificant positive effect found in the study. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now it's thank you so much, Doctor. Now it's a time for the discussion. Do you have any doubt? If you want to ask, if you want, you can ask any questions.
Okay, myself.
No, the audience will ask you questions
Okay,
if they need any clarity regarding your paper.
Okay.
But
Yes.
unfortunately, we can't see that presentation. No, I got it because it's clear. It's closely related to my subject. So the economic growth and the relation with economic growth and the foreign direct investment, and you have given a wonderful recommendations and suggestion. It's good. But I'm not sure about the other participants. Because if the presentation is there, somehow they can. Mr. Salman is here, Man is here. Any presentation from your side? I hope they all are attendees, right?
About 7%.
Yes, we are attendees.
Any presenters left? Any presentation? Anybody is here?
I'm by the way Salman from hosting team. So I'm just.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry. So any presentation? It's left.
Yes, there's one left.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Selected.
Okay, you can. Yeah, you then please share the presentation. Please share the screen.
Do we have MD Munirul Islam here?
Sorry.
MD Munirul Islam. Do we have him?
Munirul done here. It was the first one.
Then session is done. The session is done.
Okay. That was a wonderful presentation. He did a fantastic job. It was very nice. And then I hope all the presentation it's done. Dr. Danley Bashir, your presentation also, even we are not able to see that presentation. And I think Anusha has suggested that if you do some shortcut keys, if you use, you could have shared that presentation screen. But we can understand that the electricity, the power shortage and all the thing there you're facing, and even the difficult situation, you came here and share your thoughts in this platform. Thank you so much for that. Anyway, all the very best for best to Bushra, Haoshin and Danley for your research and the career. And you all have a wonderful studies, and with the hypothesis and the detailed and the structured one, you all can collaborate each other. You have to use this platform for that purpose. And it is not like one day you just present and it to just to leave it like that. Instead, the presentation, even that GCBMS team, they are kind enough to provide such platform is for the networking and the collaboration, and to come up with a lot of research ideas and the presentations. Utilize that opportunity. All the very best.
Thank you so much, Professor Tara.
Thank you. I think, shall we wind up the session? Mr. Salman, I think so, right?
Yes. If there is no any other queries, we can wind up the session.
Yeah. Do you have any questions, any suggestions or anything? If you want, you can feel free to. Any questions? How all the best for your PhD, and Bushra, please do not stop your research. Okay, both of you have a very wonderful, very unique topic. Please do it, and a related kind of topic also you can think about it. And like-minded people are here, and you can collaborate. And Anusha is here, Nadia, Anusha, and Man. And now you are getting a kind of experience how people are doing the doing research and how they are come up with the presentation and all. Learn from this and try to do some research, read research articles, and collaborate with the people, and learn how to do research, and come and present your papers here. Okay.
All right, Dr. Tara, we will probably end the session. You can go to the main room.
Yes,
the
yes,
main-
yes, yes. Thank you so much. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.